Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Long. My last name's Long. My middle name's John, but you can refer to it as J. That's what I always refer to it as, Michael J. Long. Um, and I know a lot of people on the left like to sit here and think that, especially the neocons, the people on the left and the neocons, they're all sitting around saying, well, Ron Paul can't win. But it's typical of these people because they want to try to promote the people that they think you might want. And oftentimes, these are people that are big globalists, big neocon type people. They don't listen to the people, except what they're referring to is, oh, let's bring us into the affairs of other countries. People like Michelle Bachmann and Sarah Palin and Herman Cain and the rest of them. I mean, they're all, they're not entirely for the American people as suggested by the people in the media. But of all of them, I think Herman Cain, of all the neocons that are on the stage, seems to make the most amount of sense. But there are at least two candidates that stand out from the rest of the people on the GOP stage. And their names are Ron Paul and Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson, as you know, a former New Mexico governor, and Ron Paul, who has served his 12th term in Congress. He's some people get utterly confused on his politics, but so I'd like to say that for anybody who doesn't know who Ron Paul is, he's a libertarian conservative, and if you look at the political charts, you have people that are libertarians, and then you have conservatives. And a libertarian conservative is a person that is borderline between being a libertarian and being a conservative. In further perspective, if you look at the political spectrums here, you have liberals, and in its general interpretation is usually someone that believes in freedom and liberty and personal choices, but believes in restrictions on economic choices, whereas a conservative, according to many of these perspectives, is someone that believes in freedom on economic choices and and restrictions on economic choices. And a libertarian is often someone that believes in both freedom and economic choices, and freedom for both. So imagine someone being borderline between being a conservative and being a libertarian. And that is precisely what Ron Paul is. And the reason I bring that up is because in general terms with libertarianism, often with liberals you see it too, that they believe that the women have the right to, the free choice thing with babies and, But if you look at the general interpretation with a conservative, and especially libertarian conservatives, we tend to be libertarian and libertarian conservatives tend to be pro-life, and in general terms believe that abortion should not be allowed. This guy is 100% pro-life for anybody who is in favor of pro-life, and he's also against illegal immigration, which, by the way, many libertarians aren't. He's also, other than that, he believes in small limited government, reducing the size of the federal government to its constitutional foundation. He also believes in abolishing the Federal Reserves, and which we really don't need anyways, because it's just a waste of time. And to put it in perspective, the Federal Reserves and people who support it will sit there and say, well, they'll print out $1 million, they'll give it to the banks, but that's just the point. That's just the problem here. The problem is this with the Federal Reserves: they'll print out $1 million and sometimes even $1 trillion, And then the problem is they'll lend it out, but then you have to pay taxes to them, and they charge 10% interest first time around, or sometimes even 12. And if you don't pay them on time, and they make sure you don't pay them on time, they'll jack it up to 20 or 30%. So it's set up to where you can never pay down the interest. And then what happens is it devalues the currency, because what happens is the money is printed out of thin air, and when you have to pay interest, because these guys have to get paid too, what tends to happen is the money defaults, the currency defaults, and the value defaults on the money, and what that does is it causes the inflation. So, for instance, what used to cost $10 at the grocery store now cost $20, or sometimes $20, and what costs $20, what used to cost $20 at the grocery store is now going to cost $30 or sometimes even $40. And so, and what the Federal Reserve will often do is they'll turn around and say they'll just patch down the money, and so that you have these low interest rates sometimes, and so to make it appear as if everything's smooth and dandy. But eventually we're going to run out of money, because we're going to have to, and what's going to happen is we're going to run out of money, and that's going to be a major problem. And I can guarantee you, if that happens, the American currency will collapse. And if that happens, it's going to be hell on earth. Well, my name's Michael Long, and thank you for joining me. Appreciate it.